Hey everybody, Allison here with Southland Goldens. I am here with Woody for your final training video. So what we're going to do is I'm going to break this video up into different segments to go over all the commands that Woody knows. It's super important that you continue with the same hand signals and verbal cues so that Woody picks right up on his training where he was here when he moves in with you guys. Now again, he's still a puppy. When puppies move to a new environment, new home, new people, they take a slight step back in their training. This is only for a couple of days, but what I want you to do is just continue with short training sessions. We don't want to bring him in and training for an hour. He's still a puppy. Attention span is super short, so just multiple short training sessions throughout the day. If at any time Woody does a behavior that you don't like, you're going to say no in a pretty firm tone. That way he understands, hey, this is not okay. And that he's got to get back on track. He's a boy that gets his feelings hurt if you tell him no. So just pretty firm tone, and he will be right back on track where he's supposed to be. I'm going to send you a schedule that we have him on. Of course, adjust it to fit whatever works for you, but I do feel that anytime you transition a puppy, it is super important to have them on a schedule for potty training purposes. That way, he gets in your routine. Kind of stick to that for at least the first couple of weeks. We don't want to throw him for a loop, something that he's not used to. Again, if you have any questions throughout this video or even once he comes home, pick up the phone, give us a call, shoot us an email, text. We are happy to help. I want to say thank you so much for choosing Southland Goldens. And you ready to get started? What you think, Woody? You ready to get started? Let's show him what you know. Ready? Our first two commands are going to be sit and down. These are super simple commands for Woody, but it's important that you're on the same page that we are, like we just talked about. So I'm going to go over those. So for the command sit, all you have to do, okay, Woody, is just say, Woody, sit. Yes. So as soon as Woody's bottom hits the ground, you'll say yes. Now Woody knows that he is to stay seated. Yes. Until I release him. Now this is super important because we want to make sure that anytime he stops a command, it is on my terms, not on his. Yes, so you'll see I'm saying yes and marking this behavior until I tap the side of my leg and say, okay. And that just means, hey, Woody, you're free. You can stay seated, you can get up, run around, whatever you want, but it's on my terms, not on yours. So again, for sit, you can either say, Woody, sit, or you can do the hand signal of a fist just like that. Yes. Okay, so now I'm going to show you with the hand signal, not the verbal cue. Yes. So he knows that that means sit. Now for down, all we have to do is say, Woody, down. Yes. Again, we're going to mark that behavior. Yes. And Woody knows that he is to stay laying down. Yes. Until I say, okay, and tap the side of my leg. Now, for the hand signal for down, what we do is we take our hand and we lower it down to the ground. It's going to look like this. I'm going to do both of these just with no verbal cues, just hand signals. Yes. Yes. Okay. Tap the side of my leg. That's super important. Woody, here. Good boy. Sit. Down. Yes. Good boy. Again, when Woody comes home to you, I want to make sure that you mark this behavior frequently. So you're going to say yes and continue to mark it so he knows that, hey, I'm to lay here, I'm to stay laying down until you say, okay, tap the side of your leg. So that is sit and down. So our next command is stay. So anytime we ask Woody to stay, we want to have him either sit or lay down. Either one is perfectly fine. So I'm going to put him in the down position. Woody, down. Yes, I'm going to mark that behavior. Now for Woody to stay, what I want you to do is you're going to hold your hand up like a stop sign in a pretty firm tone. You're going to say, Woody, stay, stay. Stay. Woody, here. Yes, good boy, good boy. Yes, good boy. Okay. Now this time what I'm going to do is I'm going to ask Woody to stay, and instead of calling him over to me, I'm going to go back, reward the stay, and then back up again. So what we don't want is a dog that's listening for me to say anything to break. So that's going to look like this. Woody, down. Good. Stay. Woody, stay. I want to be able to have a conversation and have a dog that's going to stay in that position. So I'm just going to talk and ramble while he stays there. I'm going to go back and I'm going to reward this stay. I have not told Woody that he can get up yet. Yes. Stay. And the only time that Woody can break is if I call him over or if I just say, okay. And that just means, hey, Woody, you're free to get up, you're free to lay down. Either way, it's perfectly fine. Now, if I want to make sure that he gets up, I say, Woody, here. Woody, here. Good boy. Yes, good boy. Good boy. Okay. So again, for stay, what you're going to do is you're going to hold your hand up like a stop sign in a pretty firm tone. You're going to say, Woody, stay. Now you need to do both of those together. So the hand signal and the verbal cue are super important on this command. Woody, sit. You drop some treats or you got to go potty. Woody, sit. Good boy. Down. Stay. Woody, stay. Yes. Good boy. Okay. And that is stay. Our next command is here. So anytime we want Woody to come to us, the verbal cue is Woody, here. We're going to lower our hand, and what we're looking for is we want Woody to come all the way to us and to automatically sit down. We don't want to have to ask for the sit. And that is because we want a dog that we trust is going to come all the way to us and not just fly by. He's going to come to us and sit down. So we do not mark the here command until he does the auto sit. So it's going to look like this. Woody, here. So you're going to see he's going to come all the way to me. Good. And then he's going to sit. Yes. That's when I'm going to say yes and mark this behavior. Now again, Woody is to stay seated. Yes. Until I say, okay, and tap the side of my legs. Now, when Woody comes home to you, he's got to get used to you being his new handler. So don't ask him to come here from, way away. Let's start with baby steps like we just talked about. So what it's going to look like, stay. To call him to me, I'm going to take this hand and I'm going to say, Woody, here. Yes. Good boy. Yes. Good boy. Okay. So again, to call Woody to you, take your hand, lower it down, Woody here, and he's going to auto sit. And that is here. Our next command is place. So place is the Kuranda bed. It's on our supply recommendation page. It's an elevated bed. Doesn't necessarily have to be this bed, but I do like the elevated place boards, and that is because it gives him a boundary. When I tell him to go to his place, he can sit, lay down, even kind of step around as long as he does not get off the place board. So I highly recommend one of those. The Kuranda beds are really good just because they cannot chew them up or tear them up or anything like that. What do you think, Woody? All right, so place is super simple. All we have to do is walk over and say, Woody, place. Woody, place. You're going to point to the place board. As soon as all four paws get on, we say yes and mark that behavior. And what we want is for exactly what Woody just did. We want him to settle in, and we want him to stay on this place board until we release him. So he knows he is to stay there until I say, okay, and tap the side of my leg. Now don't forget, anytime we say okay and tap the side of our leg, he's free to stay there. He's free to get up and roam around, but it's on our terms, not on his. So although he didn't move, doesn't mean he did anything wrong. It just means now when he gets up, it's okay because I've released him. I've said okay. Now if I had not tapped the side of my leg and he got up, I would put him back and tell him to go back to the place board, make sure that we follow through, and then release him. So again, super simple command. Woody, place. Yes. All the way, you got a leg off. There we go. One thing I do recommend is that you leave your place board in the same location in your home. What that's going to do is you're going to be able to say Woody place and not have to walk all the way over to show him where it is. Now, of course, when he first comes home, you're going to have to walk over for a little while, point to place. And what I want you to do is walk over and say place. Woody's to stay there. I want you to take a couple steps back, go back and say yes, just as he gets comfortable with place being in your home. Again, so we'll say Woody place, take a couple steps back, wait just a second, go back over, yes. And again, to release him, just tap the side of your leg and say okay. So this one is super simple. You're just going to say his name, Woody place, and walk over to the place board. As soon as all 4 paws are on there, you will say yes, mark that behavior, follow with the reward. So this is place. Our next command is crate. This is very similar to the place in the fact that we just walk over, say his name, point, and say crate. So, for example, Woody, crate, yes. Woody knows he is to go into his crate. He is to stay there until I say, okay, and tap the side of my leg. So again, a super simple command. All you have to do, walk over and say, Woody, crate, yes. Once all 4 paws are in, yes. Mark the behavior. To release him, just say, okay, tap the side of your leg. So that is crate. Our next command is wait. So this is when we are going inside. Okay, so Woody's allowed to walk around, freely go in, but it's super important that I always enter the doors first. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to bring him over, and I'm going to tell him, Woody, sit. Yes. Wait. So I hold my hand up, kind of like stay, to the side, and I say, Woody, wait, wait. Okay. And at that point, Woody is allowed to enter. Yes. Same thing if we were going out. Woody, sit, sit, wait, wait. Okay. Good boy. Yes. This is super important because we just don't want a dog that every time a door opens that they are just darting out, especially with younger kids. So that's something I definitely want you to work on when he comes home. Make sure that he knows that, hey, I always walk in and out of doors first. You follow my lead and you come in and out when I say okay. So again, for wait, you're just going to hold your hand out to the side. You'll say, Woody, wait. Once you go in, you can just tap the side of your leg and say okay, and he at that point is allowed to enter or exit the room. Good boy.